Hi YouTube, back to Basics Gal here again. Here's a picture of my elder, my common elder bush. You can tell by the 5 leaves, if you can see that, and then the flower protrudes out. The flowers are edible on this plant, the berries that come after the flowers. But today I'm going to talk to you about making the syrup. These are last year's berries I'm going to use. They're dehydrated. Again, please read the disclaimer at the bottom here. But I'm going to use a half a cup of the dehydrated berries. And you can order these from Mountain Rose Herbs online too if you don't have access to the common elder berries. And this is a really simple recipe. I will put it below. You won't believe how good this stuff is. Anyway, half a cup of the dried elderberries, 3 cups of water, 2 cloves. I'm going to add a cinnamon stick to it. This stuff smells so good while you're making it. It just adds a really nice aroma to your house. And then I'm going to add some dried ginger. I dried this last year. You can use fresh too. You need about the size of a quarter, just a slice. To take a pinch or 2 of that and put that in there. It's a lot more concentrated. I'm going to stir this up a little bit, and I'm going to bring this to a boil. I'm going to let it hard boil for about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to simmer it and let it simmer for 30 minutes. After it cools, I'm going to add some local clover honey I got at the apple orchard last year, and I'll be back as I proceed with this. You can pour elderberry syrup over pancakes. You can use it over ice cream or put it in your yogurt. Any way you use syrup, you can use it. But it's also a really good health syrup if you're getting over a cold or whatever. Anyway, this has been brought to a full rolling boil. And what I do is I'm going to take out half of the berries. They swell up. And the last time I made this, this little strainer I have here overfilled, and I had a total mess. So I learned my lesson last time. I'm going to take out half of these berries so I don't do that again. Anyway, I'm also going to, you can see that I have my little coffee press. I'm going to be pressing these berries and make sure I get out every bit of juice out of these berries. Anyway, I've set up a quart mason jar, and this is not going to make a quart, but that's what I'm going to keep this in. If you have syrup jars, which I do not have, I have some, but they're not empty. I'm just going to keep this in the refrigerator. I'm not giving it as gifts or anything this year. I'm going to go ahead and just use a mason jar to store this in. But I'm going to have to let this cool for quite some time today before I add the cup of honey. You add a cup of honey after it's cooled and just mix that in. And then you can see all these berries that I have left. I will be straining those out and crushing them. Here I've added the berries into my coffee press, and I've pressed it down already. You just push this down and it will release all. Look at how much juice came out of those berries. Anyway, I want to make sure I get all the goodness out of those berries. Anyway, now I'm going to let this cool, and then I'll be back to add 1 cup of the local raw natural honey. Okay, this is cooled for quite a while today, and I've already measured up a cup of the local honey. Like I said, this was the honey I got last year at the local apple orchard. Every year that's where I get my honey from, is the apple orchard. Until we get some honey hives or beehives, I will be purchasing local honey at the cider mill like I have for years. Anyway, you just stir this up really well, and make sure you do not give this to children under 2 years of age. And as anything, make sure you check with your physician or healthcare provider before you take anything like this. Um, this has been around forever, but because of the way things are today, we always have to give these little disclaimers. Actually wrote the one below, um, just so that people know that I'm not a physician or anything, obviously. Um, but this stuff is really, really a wonderful syrup. I'm going to give it a taste test here. Oh, you guys have to try this. If you have the opportunity to buy some, get some dehydrated berries online and try this. You'll actually love it. Anyway, as always, this is Back to Basics Gal. Thanks for stopping by.